Hello everybody, this is Charles Calhoun, aka The Shadetree Pro. Shooting a video here in my home. A little windy outside and a little rainy here down in Orlando, Florida. But I've shot a few videos and I recently just started talking in my videos. Over the years I've done a lot of writing. Got a few published articles about the golf swing. And one thing that I can say about myself is that for especially the past 4 years or so, I have studied the golf swing, not only just the golf swing in itself, but the movements of the body. I absolutely stripped the body down to the bones to understand where the joints work, how they work, for someone of my level, not like a doctor, but just an understanding for someone who has played sports and been an athlete the great majority of my life. Now, one thing I've always said, or I've always been taught as well, is that you don't make statements unless you find a way to back them up with facts. Your facts. That doesn't necessarily mean that everybody will agree or believe in everything that you say. But when you back stuff up with factual information that in its own way really can't be disputed, then that's what leads you on to the next stage of getting better and better each and every day in the game of golf. So it's almost like a process of elimination. It's kind of like once one thing works exactly the way it's supposed to work, then everything else should basically fall in place. Now, in a previous video, and there's something that I'm so adamant about, is as I discussed before, that no matter what, we always know what the club face is doing. Period. It's striking the golf ball. But more importantly, for me, and for a better understanding of what the entire club is doing, because we are swinging the entire club. We're not just swinging the club face. We're not just swinging the handle. We're not just swinging the shaft. We are swinging the entire club. And what we're striking the ball with is, of course, the club face, but the club face is being housed by the entire head. So when I made reference to say that in an address position, that this club is right side up, that's an absolute and exact. That can't be argued. And then when the club gets to the top of the backswing, no matter how you do it, this club is upside down. Whether you see it from this way or whether you see it from this way, it's still upside down regardless. That can't be argued. That's what happens. I don't care if you lay it this way. It's still in an action to where it's upside down, to where it was initially in your address position. Now, from this position, regardless of what we think of the face, because we already know what it's going to do, we must get this club back to right side up. Because this is where the golf club and the golf ball and the club face meets. Is when this club is right side up. We can't hit it with it this way. We can't hit it with it this way. We have to hit it with the club face right side up. Now, as the club strikes the ball and goes through, we just don't stop here. We have to finish the golf swing. And to finish the golf swing, that club has to get back to upside down, because that's what takes you around the body. And even if you take it and you hold it on off here, it's still preparing itself to go upside down if you finish. I'm very adamant about that, because that's exactly what the club face does. It's just like the wheels on a tire, or the wheels on a car. They roll. That's their job, to make the car roll, which is exactly what they do. And that's exactly what this club head does, to make the club face roll. So I'm very, 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 very adamant about that. But as I was saying earlier, I was always taught is don't make a statement unless you back it up with facts. Now, I've been a big fan big fan of the golf swing. And I like to see great golf. And Tiger played some of the greatest golf. But people constantly saying that he can't get his swing back. He has mental problems or something of that nature. Which, you know, I think that's idiotic. But people got the right to say whatever they want. I have the right to say, you know, the things that I say. But most importantly, when I think of the golf swing, what I am thinking about is not what I believe, but I just think of the movements that the body make. That's what the most important thing, because I've said it over and over and over again, that the golf swing in itself is nothing but a collaboration of movements. And you must learn how to sync those movements to create a golf swing. And most importantly, because we're hitting the ball in this direction, we must understand both mentally and physically how the body and how the movements and how the joints, muscles, and everything is being moved in the proper fashion in this direction. But most importantly, we must understand how the body is moving in this direction to make the club face and the club do exactly what I just described. Right side up, upside down, back to right side up, to upside down. It's one continuous motion, which is always done right in front of the body. Now, as I talk about golf, sometimes I get off track because I just love talking about it. I can't help it. It's just something that I do. It's just me. I just love talking about the game of golf and learning about the golf swing, because it's so beautiful when you hit a pure shot. I've had many good days of some great golf or whatever, and I probably didn't know anything about the game or swinging the golf club or whatever. But you know what? You just can't hit a ball better than solid, and the golf ball never lies. So if you're doing things the right way, hey, that ball's going to go where it's supposed to go. If you're doing things the wrong way, then chances are it's not going to go the right way. Now, something that I didn't like a long time ago, because I've tried it for years. I tried it for years. Because I've heard people say that this is the way the old Scots used to teach or something. I didn't know much about it. I would just read a magazine here and there, whatever. Come on, these people are supposed to be experts. I'm just reading what they're saying. I'm accepting the fact that, hey, you know what? Maybe there's something magical about the game of golf or whatever. But there's no magic to it. What it is just takes hard work and great understanding of what's happening. Now, I used to watch as Tiger Woods used to be on the golf course with himself and Sean. Devices underneath the arms. Now, me personally, that's something that, like I said, I tried many times, but it just wouldn't work. Now, I know they talk that the arm has to be tight to the body, but like I said, to me it just wouldn't work. Because no matter what, boom, flip that club every time, flam, big old hooks, couldn't stop it. Then when that big old hook came, then all of a sudden I'd slide that body open a little bit more to keep that club face open, boom, block it to the right. And every once in a while, when the timing was good or whatever, because I had a great morning or a great day or a good cup of coffee or a good conversation, my timing felt a little better. Boom! I could just time it perfect and catch it in the middle every once in a while. But that wasn't the way you play golf. You're all over the place. So, getting back to what I was discussing about the towel or glove underneath your arm. To me, as I said, I won't make a statement unless I back it up with facts. I said that Sean Foley had a flaw in his philosophy. And it's not because I have anything against Sean. I have everything for the golf swing. Now, when you watch some of the greats, you watch Ben Hogan, Byron Nelson, Sam Snead, Lee Trevino, Jack Nicklaus, they all finish with a nice high, nice and high. Lee Trevino kind of finished more a little bit around here. But what's interesting about that is that their finishes were unique because their finishes were following what the club was doing. And here's what's important that you must know, is that when we swing our arm through impact, as we go through our finish, this shoulder, which the shoulder socket, which is a ball and socket joint, it is rotating medially. It is rotating towards midline, coming back in. Well, people can feel that, and I think they understand that. But what they do is, like Harvey Pinnock said, take an aspirin, don't take the whole bottle. Trying to keep your arms snug tight to your body is taking the whole bottle. Because this energy that you are creating with both the hips, the arms, the shoulder, gravity, momentum, somewhere it's got to give. And it can't hold on here. Eventually, it's got to let go. So as you go through, the arms in itself will release. And then you release energy and it brings your body around, prepare you in the direction that you're swinging, or to guide you in the direction that you're swinging. So importantly, that you have to understand that just because the arm medially rotates doesn't mean that it has to medially rotate just here against the body. Because this is a ball and socket joint, and here is where Sean's, or I truly understand or believe that where Sean's philosophy has somewhat of a flaw, and especially what I saw him doing with Tiger Woods, is that when this arm gets here, it can still medially rotate, but because it is a ball and socket joint, it can medially rotate here, it can go here, it can go here, it can medially rotate in so many different positions. It's not designed to stay locked to the body. It's designed to let go, because energy has to flow. It can't come to a point and stand still. Because when it does, this is why you hit behind the ball. This is why you hang back, because you don't know where the energy is going. But just simply understanding this club face, or excuse me, the entire club, then you already know where the energy is going to go. Now you just got to make the body adjust itself to it. So when you're making your swing and you're coming through, and you've got that club back to right side up, and you struck that ball, and then all of a sudden that club is preparing itself to go back to upside down, this is still rotating in medially. And as it rotates in medially, now it's doing it up here, because it is a ball and socket joint, and it wants to continue to go around. Why? Because the club head in itself is the farthest thing away from us. And what the club head is doing as it's coming through, it's just building momentum, and it's just keeping us going around. And this has got to work with it. It can't rotate in like this and stop us. That high left shoulder that Jim McClain talks about, be careful of. See, because it's like a merry-go-round. See, the merry-go-round, it works from the inside. Everybody knows that. But to propel it, it has to be pushed from the outside. A little pull here, and then go that way. Same thing we're doing in the golf swing. A little bit here, and then we go that way. But we gotta let that thing keep going. We have to allow that to keep rotating medially inward. Why? Because when we're swinging the golf club, we're swinging to a high and balanced finish. That's, many people say it, a high and balanced finish. When you are taking this arm and rotating it in medially towards the midline, so you can sling this object without having to flip this object, what is happening is just like reaching up and grabbing something off the top of a wall or something. You got to reach this way, and the shoulder rotates inward. If you're reaching this way, you might be doing something a little bit different. You got to do something extra with the body. We don't want to do that. We want to just feel it flow. And there it is right there. So I hope you get a good understanding that from my studying, Because as I said before, and I'll say it again, no one has a monopoly on the ability to learn. We all have the right to pick up a book and learn. Regardless if it's a top tour player to that local hack on the driving range, the movements of the body are the movements of the body. You can't make your right arm do no different than what my right arm does. You might be able to flex it a little bit more, but based on science, your elbow bends like a hinge joint just like mine. It has a radius bone that turns the hands over just like mine. You have a wrist that goes up and down just like mine, and it goes left to right just like mine. And of course there's different names that they call it or whatever, and how it's defined scientifically, but just for the basic lay person, up, down, basically, and left, right. And this folds up and down and this rotates on every single human being. So the golf swing in itself, it's in every human being out there. You just got to know what it is that you're trying to do. And as I said, the most important thing you have to understand is what you're trying to do it with. And going back to this club head and this club face, which we already know what it does. This club, right side up, upside down, back to right side up, and back to upside down. And in that process, both shoulders, the left and the right, they're always rotating immediately in towards the center line. I hope this helped you out. Once again, my name is Charles Calhoun, aka The Shadetree Pro, and always good golfing.